There is a chair in almost every home that has quietly become one of the most dangerous objects in a person's life. Not a knife, not a car, not a staircase, a chair. Because somewhere after 75, the ordinary habit of dragging a kitchen chair over to reach the top shelf stops being a small convenience and becomes a gamble. A gamble with a body that no longer bounces back the way it once did. And the people who take that gamble almost never think of themselves as reckless. They think of themselves as capable, independent, still able to manage, right up until the moment the chair tips or the foot slips and everything changes in a single second. The truth that nobody wants to say out loud is this: after a certain age, the greatest dangers to your independence are not dramatic. They're the small, ordinary habits you've repeated your whole life without a second thought. Habits that were harmless at 50 and are quietly perilous at 75. So today, I want to walk you through 5 of those habits, 5 ordinary things that so many people keep doing long after they should have stopped, because they have always done them, and because stopping feels like admitting something. I'll tell you what each one is, why it turns dangerous with age, and exactly what to do instead. Because the goal here is not to make you feel fragile. It's the opposite. The goal is to help you protect the independence and the dignity you've spent a lifetime earning, so you get to keep them for as long as possible. And at the very end, I'm going to give you 3 simple things you can start doing this week. Small, quiet changes that protect nearly everything we talk about today. Stay with me for those, because they cost almost nothing and they may matter more than anything else. Let's begin. The first habit you need to stop after 75 is climbing. On chairs, on stools, on the little folding step, on anything not built to be stood on. I know how small this sounds. You've reached the top shelf 1,000 times. You've changed that light bulb, gotten the good dishes down from the high cabinet, pulled the box off the top of the closet your whole life without a single problem. And that's exactly why this habit is so dangerous. Because it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels like something you've mastered. But here's what changes with age, quietly, without announcing itself. Your balance. The systems in your body that keep you steady, your inner ear, your vision, the strength in your legs, the speed of your reflexes, all of them dim, gradually, so slowly that you don't notice the change from one year to the next. So you feel just as capable on that chair as you did at 50. But your body is no longer just as capable. And the gap between how capable you feel and how capable you actually are is precisely where the fall happens. And a fall from even a small height after 75 is not what it was when you were younger. When you were young, you fell, you got a bruise, you got up, you laughed about it. Now, that same fall can break a hip, a wrist, a shoulder, and a broken bone at this age, very often the beginning of a long, hard road that ends somewhere you never wanted to go. So many of the people who lose their independence didn't lose it to a disease. They lost it to a single ordinary moment on top of a kitchen chair, reaching for something they could have gotten another way. So here is what to do instead, and it costs you nothing but a little pride. First, keep the things you use most within easy reach, waist to shoulder height. Rearrange your kitchen and your closet so that nothing you need regularly lives up high or down low. Second, buy a proper reaching tool, one of those grabbers with the claw on the end, and keep one in the kitchen and one in the bedroom. Third, and this is the hard one, when something truly is out of reach, ask someone. Wait for your son to visit, call a neighbor, there is no shame in it. The strongest, most independent thing you can do is refuse to gamble your whole future on reaching one high shelf alone. Keep your feet on the floor. Your independence depends on it more than you know. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret, because her story is one I've seen repeated in 100 variations. She was 79, sharp, active, proud of managing her own home entirely on her own. One afternoon, she wanted to get the good serving platter down from the top of the kitchen cabinet the way she had 1,000 times, so she pulled over a kitchen chair and climbed up. She'd done it her whole life, but this time, as she reached, the chair shifted just slightly on the tile. Her balance, which wasn't quite what it used to be, didn't catch her in time, and she came down hard. She broke her hip. And here's the part that matters. Margaret never fully returned to the life she'd had. The surgery, the long recovery, the fear that settled in afterward, the move to her daughter's home just until she was back on her feet, a move that quietly became permanent. She lost her home, her routine, her independence, everything she was so proud of managing alone. Not to a disease, not to old age itself, to a kitchen chair and a serving platter she could have reached with a $2 grabber, or simply waited a day and asked her son to get down. That's how it happens. Not with drama, with an ordinary reach on an ordinary afternoon. Don't let a high shelf be the thing that ends the life you love. The second habit to stop is living with the small hazards you've stopped seeing. The loose rug, the cluttered hallway, the dim light, the cord across the floor. Every home fills up over the years with little things that were never a problem before. The pretty rug in the hallway that slides a bit, the stack of newspapers and boxes that narrowed the path through the room, the lamp that burned out months ago and never got replaced, leaving that corner in shadow, the extension cord running across the doorway. When you were younger, you navigated all of it without thinking. You stepped over, around, through, with a body that reacted instantly to anything underfoot. But here's the quiet danger. You've stopped seeing these things entirely. They've become invisible to you through sheer familiarity. Your eye slides right past the rug that's caught your toe a dozen times because it's always been there. And meanwhile, your feet don't lift quite as high as they used to, your reflexes don't catch you quite as fast, and your eyes don't adjust to that dim corner the way they once did. The result is a home that's quietly laid with small traps, all of them invisible to the one person who most needs to see them. So here is what to do, and I want you to actually do it, not just nod along. This week, walk through your own home slowly, room by room, and look at it as if you were a stranger seeing it for the first time, or better yet, as if you were looking at your own parents' home and worrying about them. Look down at the floor. Every loose rug either goes or gets fastened down flat so it can't slide or curl. Every walkway gets cleared. The papers, the boxes, the clutter that's crept into the paths you walk every day, especially the path from your bed to the bathroom, which you travel in the dark. Every burned-out bulb gets replaced, and the dim corners get more light, not less. Put a nightlight between your bedroom and bathroom. These are tiny changes. They cost almost nothing. And they remove, in a single afternoon, some of the most common ways that good, capable people end up on the floor. Don't let a $2 rug be the thing that takes your independence. And I want you to understand how invisible these hazards become, because that's the whole danger. There was a woman whose family begged her for years to get rid of a small decorative rug at the bottom of her stairs. She loved that rug. It had been there for 30 years, and she'd never once tripped on it, so to her the worry seemed silly. That rug had become so familiar that she genuinely could not see it as a danger. It was just part of the house, part of home. And then one ordinary morning, coming down the stairs with her mind on something else, the corner of that rug slid under her foot, and she fell. The very hazard everyone else could see plainly, the one she'd walked over safely 10,000 times, was invisible to the one person whose safety depended on seeing it. That is why you cannot rely on the fact that nothing has ever happened. Nothing happening is not the same as safe. It often just means your luck hasn't run out yet. The rug that's never tripped you is exactly the rug you've stopped seeing, and the thing you've stopped seeing is the thing most likely to take you down. Look with fresh eyes this week before luck has the last word. The third habit to stop is one that isn't about safety at all. It's about something deeper, and in its own way, it may be the most important on this whole list. Stop saving your best things for a special occasion that never comes. Almost every older person I've ever known has done this. The good china that only comes out for holidays that get rarer every year. The beautiful sweater still wrapped in tissue in the drawer, too nice to wear on an ordinary day. The special bottle saved for a celebration. The good perfume used one careful drop at a time. The room kept perfect and unused for guests who rarely visit. You've spent decades saving your best for someday, for the special occasion, the right moment, the worthy event. And I want to say something to you gently, because I think you already know it in your heart. After 75, someday is now. There is no better occasion coming than the ordinary Tuesday you are living right now. This is the special occasion. This is the day you were saving everything for. Think about what this habit really is, underneath. It's a quiet belief that today isn't quite good enough, that the good things belong to some finer, more important day still ahead. But at this stage of life, that's a trap, because it means the good things sit in drawers and cabinets, unused, unenjoyed, while the ordinary days, which are the only days any of us ever actually get, pass by on the everyday plates. So here's what to do, and it might be the most joyful instruction I ever give you. Use the good china tonight. Wear the beautiful sweater to the grocery store. Open the special bottle for no reason at all except that you're alive and it's a nice evening. Sit in the good room. Light the nice candle. Spray the good perfume this morning. Stop treating your own life like a rehearsal for some real event that's always just ahead. This is the event. You are living it right now. The people who reach the end with the most peace are almost never the ones who saved the most. They're the ones who used it, wore it, enjoyed it, savored it, who understood that the whole point of having good things is to let them make ordinary days beautiful. Don't leave your best still wrapped in tissue. Use it. That's not wasteful. That's wisdom. I think about a man I'll call Harold, who after his wife passed away was going through her things, and in the back of her closet he found a beautiful dress, still with the tags on it, never worn. She had bought it years earlier for a special occasion, and in her mind, no occasion had ever been quite special enough. She'd saved it, and then the occasions ran out. Harold told me that dress broke his heart more than almost anything else in the house, because it stood for all the beauty and joy his wife had postponed, waiting for a someday that never arrived. He said she was always saving the best of herself for later, and later never came. And then he said something I've never forgotten. Now I use the good dishes every single night, because I finally understand that this ordinary evening, alone with a simple dinner, this is the special occasion. It always was. Don't let your good things become someone else's heartbreak in a closet. The occasion you've been waiting for is the life you're living right now. The fourth habit to stop is the one that hides behind pride, and it's the one that quietly does the most damage: refusing to ask for help and slowly pulling away from other people. This one is subtle because it doesn't look like a dangerous habit. It looks like strength. It looks like independence. I don't want to be a burden. I can manage on my own. I don't want to bother anyone. You've been the capable one your whole life, the one who helped others, who managed, who never needed to lean. And so, as things get a little harder, the instinct is to hide the struggle, to turn down the offers, to insist you're fine, to quietly stop going to the places and seeing the people that have become a bit more effort. And it feels noble. It feels like you're protecting your dignity and sparing everyone else. But here is the hard truth. This habit, more than almost any other, is what turns a capable older person into an isolated one. Because refusing help doesn't make the difficulty go away. It just means you face it alone. And pulling back from people doesn't protect you. It slowly removes the very connections that keep you healthy, sharp, safe, and glad to be alive. Loneliness is not just sad. It is genuinely one of the most harmful conditions an older person can live in, and it very often arrives disguised as independence. The person who won't ask for help, who stops accepting invitations because they're tired or it's a bother, who lets the phone calls grow shorter and the visits rarer. That person isn't protecting themselves. They're slowly disappearing, one declined invitation at a time. So here is what to do, and it takes real courage, more than climbing any ladder. First, let people help you, and understand what you're giving them when you do. When you allow your children, your friends, your neighbors to help you, you are not being a burden. You are giving them the gift of being useful to someone they love. Refusing help doesn't spare them. It shuts them out. Second, keep saying yes. Yes to the lunch. Yes to the visit. Yes to the phone call, even when it would be easier to stay home. Every connection you keep is a lifeline, and every one you let go is harder to get back than you think. And third, if you're struggling with something, the house, the bills, the driving, anything, say so, out loud, to someone who loves you before it becomes a crisis. Asking for help early, while it's still your choice, is not weakness. It is the wisest, strongest thing a person can do. Your pride is not worth your independence, and it is certainly not worth your loneliness. Let people in. I remember a man I'll call Walter, a widower in his early 80s, who had been fiercely, proudly independent his whole life. After his wife died, his children called often and offered to visit, to help, to bring him to family dinners. And Walter, not wanting to be a burden, not wanting to seem like he couldn't cope, gently turned them down, again and again. "I'm fine," he'd say. "Don't trouble yourselves." He stopped going to the weekly card game because driving at night had gotten harder, and he didn't want to admit it. He let the phone calls grow shorter, and slowly, without anyone quite deciding it, Walter became a man who spent nearly all his time alone, in a quiet house, telling everyone he was fine. His children thought they were respecting his independence. They didn't realize he was disappearing. It was only when a granddaughter dropped by unannounced and found him low, isolated, and far more diminished than anyone knew that the family understood what his pride had cost him. The saddest part is that his children had wanted to be there the whole time. His refusal to be a burden hadn't spared them anything. It had only robbed them all of the years they could have spent together. Don't make Walter's mistake. The people who love you are not burdened by helping you. They're hurt by being shut out. The fifth habit to stop is putting off the things you know need doing. The repairs, the decisions, the conversations, the plans. This is the habit of, "I'll get to it." The handrail that's been loose for a year, the doctor's appointment you keep rescheduling, the will you've been meaning to update, the conversation with your children about the future that you keep avoiding, the step outside that's cracked and needs fixing. Each one, on its own, seems small enough to postpone. And postponing feels harmless, because nothing bad has happened yet. But here's what I've come to understand. At this stage of life, "I'll get to it later," is a quiet gamble that later will come, and that when it does, you'll still be able to handle it as easily as you can today. And that gamble gets riskier every single year. The loose handrail you meant to fix becomes the thing you reach for in a stumble, and it gives way. The conversation you kept avoiding gets forced on your family in a crisis at the worst possible moment with no idea what you would have wanted. The decision you kept putting off gets made for you by someone else in a hurry. There's a particular kind of peace that comes from handling things while you still can, while it's still your choice, still on your terms, still in your control. And there is a particular kind of anguish, which I've seen in too many families, that comes from a pile of, "I'll get to it later," all coming due at once in an emergency when no one is ready. So here's what to do, and it's simpler than the dread makes it seem. Make a short list, just the things you've been putting off that quietly worry you. The repair, the appointment, the document, the conversation. Then do one of them this week, just one. Not all of it, not a grand overhaul. One item handled, off the list and off your mind. Then another next week. The relief you'll feel is enormous, far bigger than the task itself, because what's really weighing on you isn't the task. It's the knowing you've left it undone. Handle the things you can handle now, calmly, while it's still entirely your choice. That is how you stay in control of your own life, instead of letting a crisis take the wheel. I've watched this play out in the difference between two families. In one, a father kept putting off the conversation about the future, the will, his wishes, where things stood, because it felt morbid and there was always more time. Then he had a sudden health crisis, and his children found themselves in a hospital corridor with no idea what he would have wanted, arguing among themselves, guessing, tormented by decisions no one had prepared them to make. In the other family, a mother in a calm season sat her children down and simply told them, "Here's where everything is, here's what I'd want, here's what I've decided." It wasn't a comfortable conversation, but when her own crisis came, years later, there was no chaos, no guessing, no argument, just a family that knew and could act with love instead of panic. Same kind of crisis, two completely different experiences. The only difference was that one person handled it while she still could, and the other kept saying later until later arrived uninvited. You get to choose which of those stories is yours, and the time to choose is now, while the choosing is still in your hands. So those are the 5 habits to stop after 75. Climbing on things you shouldn't, living with the small hazards you've stopped seeing, saving your best for a day that never comes, refusing help and pulling away from people, and putting off the things you know need doing. Notice something about all 5. Not one of them is about becoming weak or fearful or giving up. Every single one is about the opposite, about protecting your independence, your safety, your joy, and your dignity, so you get to keep living the life you want on your own terms for as long as possible. Stopping these habits isn't surrender. It's the smartest, strongest thing you can do. Now, I promised you 3 simple things you can start doing this week. Small changes that quietly protect nearly everything we've talked about. Here they are. The first is a 10-minute walk through your own home, the way I described earlier, but done properly with a notepad. Go room by room and write down every small hazard you find. The loose rug, the dim corner, the cluttered path, the things stored too high, the loose handrail. Don't fix them all at once. Just make the list. The simple act of finally seeing your home clearly instead of looking past the dangers you've grown used to is the single most protective thing you can do, and it costs you nothing but 10 honest minutes. Most falls happen in places the person walked past safely 1,000 times, right up until the one time they didn't. Seeing your home clearly is how you find the one before it finds you. The second is to reach out to one person this week. Really reach out. Not a text, not a quick, "I'm fine." A real call, or better, a visit or a shared meal. Pick someone whose company you've let slip a little and reconnect on purpose. Because the habit of connection, like every habit, weakens when it isn't used and strengthens when it is. One genuine connection a week keeps the muscle of your relationships alive, and those relationships are, quite literally, one of the strongest protections you have for your health, your safety, and your happiness. And here's the quiet secret. The person you reach out to will almost always be glad you did. You're not bothering them. You're giving them something too. And the third is to use one good thing this week that you've been saving. Just one. Wear it, eat off it, open it, enjoy it, for no reason on an ordinary day. This one isn't about safety. It's about something just as important. Remembering in your own body that this life you're living right now, today, is the real thing. Not a rehearsal, not a waiting room for some better day ahead. Every time you use the good thing on the ordinary day, you're telling yourself the truth that too many people only learn too late, that the ordinary days were the good days all along. Don't wait to learn it. Learn it this week with the good china and no occasion at all. If you've watched this far, you're not here by accident. You're here because you care about living well, not just longer, but better, with your dignity and your independence and your joy intact. And that's exactly the right thing to care about. These 5 habits and these 3 small changes aren't about fear. They're about taking gentle, wise control of the things you can control so that the years ahead are as full, as safe, and as free as they can possibly be. If this was helpful to you, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe so these conversations can keep reaching you. And if there's someone in your life over 70 who you love, send this to them, not as a warning, but as a gift. It might be the reason they stop climbing on that chair, or clear that rug, or finally use the good china, or pick up the phone. Sometimes one small change is the thing that protects everything. One gentle and important note before I go. I'm not a doctor, and nothing I've said today is medical advice. Every person's body and situation are different, and if you have specific concerns about your balance, your health, or your safety at home, please talk with your doctor, who can give you guidance suited to you. What I've offered here is plain, practical wisdom about the ordinary habits of daily life, the things that don't show up on any medical chart, but that quietly shape the safety and the joy of every single day. So here's what I'll leave you with. After 75, the life you get to keep living is protected not by grand gestures, but by small, wise choices made quietly day after day. Keep your feet on the floor. Clear the little dangers you've stopped seeing. Use your best things now, today, while you can enjoy them. Let the people who love you help you, and stay close to them. And handle the things you've been putting off while it's still entirely your choice. Do those things, and you protect the 2 things that matter most at this stage of life: your independence and your peace. You've earned them both. Now, guard them, gently, wisely, starting this week. Because the goal was never simply to grow old. The goal was to stay free and safe, and glad to be here for every good day you have left. And let me leave you with one last thought, because I think it ties everything together. Every single one of these 5 habits comes down to the same quiet choice. Whether you'll keep living on the autopilot of old habits that no longer fit the life you're in, or whether you'll look at your life clearly, with fresh and honest eyes, and make the small, wise adjustments that keep you free, that's not a sad thing to do. It's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself, and for the people who love you and want to keep you around, healthy and whole, for a good long while. You are not too old to change a habit. No one ever is. The person who adjusts one small thing this week is stronger, not weaker, than the person who insists on doing everything the way they always have, right up until the day it costs them everything. Be the one who adjusts. Be the one who stays free. You have far more say in the years ahead than anyone ever told you. Starting this week, use it.